when I came here, you had heard already 20 years ago, I was thrilled to be part of the organization. And one of the first persons I met was Stella Levi. And Stella was at that time a board member of the American Sephardic Federation, but she had come by ways of something called the Sephardic House, which was a cultural organization that had been started at the Spanish and Portuguese synagogue. And I must tell you, I can't think of a better beginning of an award ceremony than to recognize Stella. Stella was born on the island of Rhodes, those of you who haven't read the program. At that time, when she was born and grew up in Rhodes, it was under Italian rule. So Stella learned to speak Italian, Greek, Turkish, French. Did I forget any language, Stella? Ladino. And Stella was an intensely cultural person. And in the beginning of my tenure, she was very, very helpful with some very sophisticated and highbrow events that we had. And Stella is a unique person in terms of when you asked her a question or you wanted to learn something, she had this amazing way to be intellectually brilliant in the way she answered without a notion of showing off. That's an amazing capability. And that's how I remember you during your board stint. Stella then left our board and went on to Primo Levi and has had and continues to have a key role there. Now, what I didn't know until much, much later about Stella is that she experienced the Holocaust personally. And I think it must have been the first half of '43, the whole Rhodes community that had suffered a lot of discrimination under the Italian rule and the cooperation with the Germans, ended up in Auschwitz and spent until I would assume 45 in Auschwitz. This was something Stella never spoke about. You could never see a sign of bitterness in Stella. And I understand now, Stella, that you have spoken about it a little more. And I can't believe that a refined person like you have been in a place like that. I just can't understand. I can't understand that anyone got there, but anyway. But that you survived, it must have been torturous for you. So Stella has been a force for the American Sephardic Federation, for Primo Levi, in art and in culture. She knows Sephardic Jewish and Jewish history better than most. And she has had a huge importance for Italian Jewish culture, so much so that the president of Italy awarded her with the highest award last month. And she got the medal of the King. King Cross is the name of the medal, I think. And without going into much more detail, I would like to invite Stella up and receive an extremely well-deserved award for the arts and history. While Stella gets settled, what I omitted to mention was Stella was also very instrumental in the creation of the Sephardic Jewish Film Festival. Here's the award.
È bella questa melograna.
E adesso?
E adesso? Il tuo discorso. Vuoi gli occhiali?
Buenas noches, hermanos y hermanas. Good evening to all, and thank you for being here. Grazie. My gratitude for honoring me with this award goes to David Angur, Jason Guberman, and the American Sephardic Federation. And my thanks to my dear friends of Centro Primo Levi, some of whom are here, Alessandro Cassin and Natalia Indrimi, my cousin Isabel Levi, and her husband Nugi. And on this occasion, I want to thank my son, John Grunberg, for being a wonderful human being and so loving to me. Even if his father and I did not raise him religious, every Friday he calls me and wishes Shabbat Shalom. When I was a young girl in Rhodes, the island was one of the few Mediterranean destinations of early 20th century tourists. My paternal grandmother never left the Jewish quarter in her life, but to go only to the hammam, the Turkish bath. Besides a few prayers in Hebrew, she only spoke Espanol. Our ancestors arrived in Rhodes following the Spanish expulsion in 1492 and were welcomed by the Ottomans. She used to sit on the pilota by the main door of our home. When Spanish tourists passed by in the old city, she would turn to me and comment, "Look how many Jews are coming to visit the synagogue." And I would say, "Nonna, they are not Jewish, they are Spanish. How can they not be Jewish?" She would say, "They speak our language." My maternal grandmother, instead, on the other hand, every year went to Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, where she learned Arabic also. She wanted to be buried there with her family. However, she did not die, and every year she came back to Rhodes. My nonna's fantastic imagination conjured the Spanish exodus of 1492, Yerushalayim, the love for our language, which are many, and the tradition of welcoming everyone who came by. They represented the Sephardic world as a spark of life, curiosity, and enthusiasm for everything that surrounded us. We were lucky to speak many languages: Spanish, Turkish, some Greek, some Hebrew. My older sister studied French at the Alliance Israélite Universelle, and we learned French at home from them, we little ones. Then the Italians occupied the island in 1912, and my sister Renee and I went to Italian schools, and Italian was added to the language of our home. We knew that there were Jews in Germany, Poland, Hungary, and Russia. Those were the Ashkenazim. And they spoke, of course, Yiddish. But I always realized that in the eyes of mainstream American Jews, I am an exotic person, a Jew who doesn't speak Yiddish. In fact, when we arrived at Auschwitz, the other prisoners shunned us for not knowing Yiddish. It was French, the language that saved us, because the French women in the camp spoke both Yiddish and French, translated German for us. Language places the Sephardim of Spain and all the communities they have been connected to in the Middle and Far East, amidst a very large and diverse population of Spanish, Turkish, Portuguese, French, Farsi, etc. The Jewish worldliness is what I have always wanted to share and make a source of inspiration. This is what guided me when I helped develop the Jewish Museum in Athens and Rhodes, the Sephardic House in New York, and in the past 24 years, Centro Primo Levi, which truly honors this vision. When the American Sephardic Federation invited the Sephardic House to join the Center for Jewish History, I hope that this would make our culture known and the center more cosmopolitan. That cosmopolitan spirit is sadly at odds with the inward-looking attitudes of a great part of the American and Israeli Jewish society today. I believe, however, that it will ultimately prevail if we place humanity before and above everything else, without fear to lose our own particularity. As said in Adon Olam, the Jewish hymn written in Spain in the circle of the beloved poet Solomon ibn Gabirol, Adonai li velo ira, the Lord is with me and I have no fear.